Over the years, video game movies have been absolutely terrible. Well, except for the new Tomb Raider, that was just okay. And by okay, I mean the first half hour was the longest half hour in my life, and I felt way too bored to continue. But generally, these movies are quite lackluster. They're weak, like when you're about to finish your opponent, but it shouldn't be. Not when you have the story laid out for you. Yes, I understand that it could be boring to replicate the same exact story with no changes at all, because all you're doing is taking out the gameplay, but that's not what these movies tend to do at all. Instead, they go in a completely different direction that no one asked for or wanted. So let's take a look at Mortal Kombat, the subject of the video today, which also just so happens to be a great example. As you may know, the two films in the 90s were honestly just really bad, especially the second one. But in 2011, the same year Mortal Kombat 9 was released, we got a web series on machinima.com called Mortal Kombat Legacy. I personally really liked the series. Sure, the acting wasn't always the greatest, but for a web series, it was the best that we could get, especially the casting. Most of them were perfect or near perfect for the roles, like the actor who played Jax, Michael J. White, who you may recognize in Arrow and The Dark Knight. And again, for a web series, I was really quite impressed with the CGI. It was really sick to see Sub-Zero and Scorpion go at it, and Cyrax and Sector testing out their suits. And speaking of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, their stories were by far the most believable and most intriguing. But when the second season rolled around, it was pretty disappointing as not much happened in it besides more build-up and just a depressed, later evil Liu Kang. Now all I've said so far is that these film adaptations are really bad and they continue to fail, I know, but that's exactly why we need this movie. Because not only is this type of story pretty easy to replicate on the big screen, but it could be a start for Warner Brothers making their movies good again. And by easy, I mean that the groundwork is laid out already. We're familiar with the characters in the story, kinda like the live-action Disney remakes that serve as nostalgia, but I don't mean just try and copy everything that we see in the games. First focus on creating a good movie, then adapt it. Don't try to cram in everything at once like in Annihilation, but try to make it more like what Marvel is doing with the MCU and take it one step at a time. That means if you need a whole movie with just Sub-Zero and Scorpion to really build on their characters, then do that. You can wait a few years to make a full Mortal Kombat movie when their tournament actually begins. But just because you'll take the time to have standalone movies, don't make ones that may be pointless, like Johnny Cage, because we already know his story fully before he enters the tournament. He's just a failed martial arts actor and that's really it. We don't need to know more beyond that. Also remember to hire fans of the franchise to write and direct, and to cast people who actually fit the role, although that's my advice for any adaptable movie that Hollywood has been actually pretty bad at following for the last few years. Now that we've talked about what should be in it, let's talk about what's rumored to be in it. In July, Polygon wrote an article called The Mortal Kombat Reboot Sounds a Little Different, and in it talks about what we may see. So that includes a young Raiden, a new character called Cole Turner, and how Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Johnny Cage will not be making an appearance. However, this is just an article, so it could just all be speculation. The potential producer of the film, Todd Garner, said on Twitter, "Nothing is happening with the movie at this time, so all news is premature." And writer Greg Russo, not related to the Russo brothers, tweeted this back in September. While I can't talk about any current or specific plot points, I think it's safe to say that Sonya being a writer and Raiden appearing as a teen boy were both given one of these quite some time back. Rest easy, MK Faithful. This is actually a good thing since he's acknowledging how people have responded to these rumors, and as stated in his bio, he is definitely a fan himself. And even if these rumors aren't true, because of this, I'll trust him. There is more evidence to suggest that this film may be in good hands, since director James Wan, director of the new Aquaman movie, is in talks about working on the project, and just 5 days ago in a Den of Geeks article, he said, "That has been such a tricky one just trying to get the script out to a point. People don't understand this, fans don't understand this, but there's just so much on the business side of things, and try to get the right budget for it. And we want to make sure that we have enough resources, and if I can't get the resources and find the right filmmaker for it, I don't want to do it. I'm so busy already. I don't need to clutter my plate with any more stuff if I don't believe it can be done right." So even though the future of this film is unclear, we at least know that they want to do whatever they can to make this film right. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know in the comments down below if you want a reboot to happen. Hit the subscribe button on the way out, and I'll see you soon.